We believe that most financial trading will eventually be decentralized. In fact, we believe that sort of cryptocurrency and blockchain technology in general is a genuinely transformational technology, and that a decentralized Web3, if you like, future is inevitable. It's going to happen, and we think it's something worth dedicating our lives and our time to building, because we think it has huge implications for individuals and privacy and the future of our world. Vega's a really important part of that future, we believe. We're building infrastructure that makes this possible within the realm of decentralized finance, within the realm of trading, and that creates something that hasn't yet quite been done, and will really be necessary to take the decentralized world to its next phase. So let's talk about decentralizing finance. Why and what? Well, our current financial system is not fit for purpose. You hear people complain about that from every side and for every reason, but it's a closed ecosystem. It means that certain gatekeepers control the access and take all the money. It's slow to innovate because it's a closed ecosystem and because it's hard to get involved and because it's opaque. Innovation comes slowly, and it comes from the top, from the middle, rather than coming from the people on the ground who can use those innovations. It charges excessive commissions and fees. If you're a gatekeeper and you're stuck in the middle of the flows of billions and trillions of dollars, then it's easy for you to skim off what you want. And we see that happening all the time. I think it's saw a stat earlier in the spring presentation, something like 1.5% of all of the financial trading and flows is taken in terms of fees and commissions. And every time you buy something on a credit card, you pay something like 2%. The transaction costs nothing like that, and it shouldn't cost you that. It favors incumbents and large corporations. If you're stuck in the middle of this system, you get all kinds of benefits. You can trade cheaply, you can access markets, you can create your own markets, you can make profit. If you're the little guys, whether that means you're an individual, whether that means you're a company, small or medium-sized company that's not directly connected to the markets, or anyone else, then you get a bad deal. Access is limited. Plenty of companies and people can't access these markets, either because of where they're based, because of the kind of company or person they are, because of their credit history, because of their financial situation. That's not fair either. And market creation is basically an oligopoly. There are only some people in the world, and it's a tiny number of institutions really, that can actually create new financial markets with any meaning. And that's hugely bad for innovation, it's hugely bad for all of us, and it's something we want to change. The key point here is these are all structural problems. These institutions behind these markets have all of the technology available to them, and they use it to enhance and to continue and perpetuate these problems to make themselves richer. These are not problems of this technology hasn't made it to financial markets. These are problems of these people do not want the markets to be structured any differently because it suits them. We want to change that, and we think decentralization is basically the only way to do it when you look at the power and concentration in these organizations. And that's why we're here. So, what is Vega and why is it important? Well, Vega is built for trading. In order to decentralize finance and in order to move trading off of these existing centralized systems, we need to build a system that can actually move that trading in a meaningful way. It's no good saying that you can do that trading if it's going to cost you a ton more, or allow other people to take advantage of your prices on the order book because they can front run your transaction by paying a higher gas fee on Ethereum. That won't work. You know, the benefits are there for decentralization, but if the downsides are too big, then only a tiny fraction of trading will move, and it'll be the fraction that no one particularly cares about. It'll be the black markets, it'll be the illegal markets, it'll be the things that actually don't benefit that many people that move because they have to, and everything else will stay on the centralized markets and perpetuate the same system. So we need a decentralized network that is built for trading, and that's what Vega is. For instance, Ethereum and other blockchains that we've seen so far, they're designed for general purpose use. Bitcoin is designed for moving assets around, mostly Bitcoin. Ethereum is designed for a bunch of things. It's designed for running smart contracts, which can do a lot. It's designed for creating tokens. But the way Ethereum is designed to be good at those general purpose things, and that makes it quite bad at trading. You know, Ethereum's fee model means that you can pay to front run. Ethereum's throughput model and Ethereum's latency and throughput model means that you can't really support a significant amount of trading. Those trade-offs make sense for Ethereum. But in order to optimize and in order to make it possible to move trading, which is a highly technological and high-value activity, off of the centralized systems and onto decentralized systems, we need to do better. We actually need to design a consensus layer from the ground up to be there for trading. We need to design it to prevent front running. We need to make sure you can place orders without paying fees. We need to make sure that as technology improves, you can upgrade that consensus layer in order to make things better for trading and better for finance without worrying about whether or not CryptoKitties will still work and whether or not the document signing app that someone put live last week will still work. Vega allows us to do that because it is optimized. It does a small number of things extremely well. And the next point is that in a general purpose system, obviously, it also has to be quite lightweight in terms of execution. Ethereum can't guess all of the things it'll be used for, so it gives you a virtual machine. Lets you write code to do almost anything. But there's a penalty for that. That code runs pretty slowly and it's pretty expensive. Most of the things that you do on your laptop would be completely impossible on Ethereum because of the cost and speed of running that code on Ethereum, which means that if you want to do general things that are quite small, Ethereum is great. If you want to do very specialized things that are quite complex, and trading is one of those specialized things, then Ethereum isn't such a great answer. And that's the same with all of the general purpose smart contract platforms. There's always a trade-off. And the trade-off we've made, as you see on the slide here, is we have a much fatter layer. There's actually a lot more going on. In the layer where the Ethereum VM is in Vega, there's a layer that understands what a market is. It understands an order book. It understands liquidity and how to price it. It understands how to margin and manage trades. It understands how to close people out. It understands what optionality is. It understands how to make transfers. It understands how to do all of that natively at a protocol level, and that means it does it super fast and super reliably. It also means that every single market that gets created on Vega gets the latest risk models and the latest trading modes. You don't have to write code in a different smart contract every time. Every market that's created on Vega is created with a small, powerful, what we're calling a smart product. So where smart contracts on Ethereum have to be very complex because Ethereum, as I mentioned, doesn't have much domain-specific functionality, the smart products that Vega uses are actually very, very simple because they take advantage of all this power built into the Vega network. That means that we can get away with very, very small smart products that are very easy to understand and very easy to test and allow you to trade a huge range of products and derivatives. So that's really important, and that's the key point about Vega. The whole thing is designed from day one to support trading and to support finance and not to do anything else. It's a special purpose blockchain. And, oh, sorry, the animations are confusing me. Yeah, and so, just to hammer that point home a little bit more, while you can do these things, while you have the latency problems, the platform limitations, the block ordering problems, DeFi, I think, is going to remain stuck to the crypto ecosystem because the problems that we have in many of the DeFi protocols now, particularly when you look at financial products like derivatives and other synthetics, margin products and things like that, those problems will put off anyone who's trading because they want to hedge the price of their imports or anyone who's trying to deal with weather risk. They'll be interesting to people in the crypto world, but we need to move beyond that, and we need to start to be useful to the real world. And because Vega's a blockchain optimized for trading, it plays well with Ethereum, by the way. It plays well with Bitcoin. We're not creating our own assets. We're not creating our own tokens for trading. You're going to trade your ERC20s. You can trade your DAI. You can trade your Ether. Vega's not interested in doing that. We want to work with the ecosystem and be part of it, but we think it's really important that the finance and the trading in the ecosystem happens on a system that's capable of doing it properly. So, the main part of this thing today and why we're standing up here, why the whole team is here in their very attractive yellow hoodies, is the Vega Testnet. This is a technical preview of a new blockchain for trading. This testnet has no centralized server. Everything happens on the chain. We're running all those servers right now, but it is no centralized server. It's all a blockchain. It's all distributed. We're going to have trading via what we call the Vega Console, which is a web app that our front-end team have put together that gives you sort of professional quality trading features in a nice, easy-to-use web app platform and is a quick way to get started. We're also exposing a number of APIs in GraphQL, in REST, and in gRPC that allow you to build bots and to trade automatically and to interact with the protocol itself. As I said, we're running all the nodes. It's live now. Users will be added over the coming months, and you can join the waitlist today at vega.xyz. So, get on the website. Find the waitlist link. I'm sure it's somewhere sensible on the front. I haven't actually looked for it. Click that link and get signed up, and you'll be onboarded onto the testnet once we're able to have the capacity to support you. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to spend some time taking you through what it looks like to trade and to use a next generation decentralized finance platform built on the technology I talked about, take you through the step change in quality and speed that we're creating in Vega compared to other DeFi platforms. So without further ado, let's move on to the demo and see if the demo gods are anyway working in our favor or not. So the first thing I'm going to show you here is, I've just got to click a box, sorry, one second. First thing I'm going to show you here is just a sort of dashboard. This is a dashboard that's connected to one of our nodes and gets some information from the blockchain. So, just a little bit of evidence, seeing as I can't show you the physical nodes. They're in data centers around the world. We're really running a blockchain network here, and we're really trading on a blockchain. On the left-hand side, you can see the trades that are happening mostly because of our bots, because the bots do a lot of trading and the people tend to be slower. But if you were to trade right now, you'd probably see your trade come past, and some of them are flying past. And you can see we're doing multiple orders a second and orders per block. And even with this network, which we've been very, very conservative on, this is a demo, so we're not going to try and stress it at the sort of 800, 900 orders a second limits that we've managed to test, when we don't have a demo to do. We're actually being quite conservative. But that's just what we're doing right now on that network. So that's kind of cool. Now I'm going to show you our console application, and also you can see on the left now this little, let's just refresh it in case it's not working, but the little thing on the left now is only going to show the human trades. So if any one of you guys are trading while we're here, you'll see your orders and your trades scroll past on the left while I demo. So here you can see our console app. I'm just going to refresh it because I'm not sure how long it's been running and if it's still working. Here you can see our console app. You can see on the left-hand side of the screen, we've got a little bit of network data. At the top, you can see the chart, which shows the current price of our mystery market that we've been rerunning over the last few days. This is all, pretty full-featured. There's much more to come for this, but we can do a lot of the things that you can do on any good platform, and they happen super fast, and they're coming out of our network. You can see down here you've got an orders and positions, and I think my position has fallen off the bottom, so hold on one second, because it looks like you won't be able to see that unless I just tweak this. There we go. Okay, so you can see my current position. You can see I haven't got any orders open at the moment, and you can see those things. I can show you some more market info. So as you can see on the screen, if you have good eyesight, that's the configuration for this market. It's a futures market, and you can see in there that there's various bits of configuration that control how the market trades, control how it's risk managed, and all of those things. It's important to note that in future, when Vega is live, and in fact, even in a future version of the testnet, users will be able to propose their own markets. They'll go through an on-chain governance process with the token holders voting, but new markets will be able to be created by anyone, not just the people in Vega, not just the people who run the nodes, but actually anyone in the world will be able to propose and create a new market. And this is some of the data that sits there in those markets. You can also see we've got an order book there. It looks like one side of the book's a little better stocked than the other, or maybe that's just I can't see because the reflection on the screen. But there's the order book and another view of the depth there. Yes, you can see on one side we've clearly got a lot more volume than on the other. And then let's just move back to the chart. Oh, some big order came in there. And now I can create limit orders or market orders. I'm going to do a market order because I'm going to do a market order first because it's a little bit easier. You can see my positions currently 150, open down the bottom there. So if I was to do a sell for 250, then what we should find is my position goes negative. There we go. I have an open volume of minus 100. And what you saw there was an order going onto our blockchain, making it through a block, being just gossiped through all the nodes on the Vega network, and this network has 10 nodes. It has 5 that are validating and 5 that are serving the APIs for the game. And it got out very, very quickly, and you can see the P&L changing, roughly once a second as the market changes. So super quick and super different to other decentralized exchanges you might have used. Now let's take a look at a limit order. We're at price 229. What's the price now? It's a little bit there. So let's see if I can buy at 229. I want to buy 250. And you can see now I've got an active order there, and that active order sat there. And maybe it'll trade, maybe it won't. It'll depend what happens to the price. But you can see I've got an active order there, and that's going on. So that's our console. And now I'm going to switch over to my coding screen, and I'm just going to demonstrate how easy it is to interact with Vega with some of the APIs, because we think that compared to some of dealing with blocks and dealing with transactions and some of the things that you have to do if you actually want to interact with a Ethereum smart contract, we've built a super simple API that's directly connected to the nodes that makes it really, really easy to trade. Let me just refresh this little app here that shows the trades, so that as people trade, you'll be able to see. So here you go. Here I've got a very simple query, and you can see I'm just sending to the URL a markets request to see what markets we've got. So if I go up and I take a look, not sure why my terminal has got very small. It was very big earlier. Let me try again. That's better. That's the size I was after. So now if I take a look at market info, this is the first one. There you go. I've retrieved an ID, and I've retrieved the name of a market from the ID. Very simple. So let's go back and say, well, actually, let's get some more info and see what else I can get about a market. Bingo. There you go. There's all the market you saw on the info and a little bit more. So you can see I can retrieve all the info about the market and every market, in fact, on the network, and I can start trading with the network now using that info. So let's go along. Let's move on. Let's take a look at submitting an order. Here we go. So I've created an order. Again, it's a very simple data structure. I'm going to send the order here, and then in the next part on line 23 onwards, I'm going to iterate, and I'm just going to keep checking to see if I get an error code back that the order hasn't been found yet, because the order might take 1 or 2 seconds to broadcast through the network and gossip. And then once it finds that the order has come through, it's just going to print out the status of the order. So let's see what that looks like. Here we go. Running the submit order. There we go. Sent it, waited for the blockchain. And in that very short space of time, just a couple of seconds, it's come back. And now you can see that, in fact, it's traded. I bought because I bought for 400. Size of 50, there's nothing left because 400 happened to hit the other order on the other side, and my order will have scrolled past on the left. And yeah, so there you go. The order's traded and we found it. And then finally, let's just take a look at how I can see my position. In fact, because it's a public network, I can also see the positions of all the other pseudonymous identities in the network. So we're going to take a look at my party. We're going to try and look at see what my position on that market is. And then we're going to take a look at the accounts that I have. So my actual assets, how many of those I've got, and also my margin and how much margin I'm using up on the network. So again, as you can see, once again, all of these things are 5 or 10 lines. Nothing is super complex. Nothing involves understanding the blockchain. You just plug into a node. The node understands the blockchain. You can run the node yourself. You can do all the blockchain verification you want. You can run the node. You can have your own explorer. But you can plug into a node and you can use these simple APIs. And it just feels like interacting with a centralized exchange, which is really great because centralized exchange APIs are a lot easier to use than some of the blockchain stuff. So let's just see, there we go, position and balance. So there you go, I've printed out my position on the market. My unrealized P&L is 750. My realized P&L is a gigantic loss. So I've been doing super badly because I've been too busy testing the script to look at which direction I'm trading. And I'm sure some of you guys are probably profiting from me in the audience right now. And you can also see my general accounts balance is very high because I'm on a test account and I need to make sure I've got enough money to do the demo. And my margin account balance, there you go, that's the amount of margin that the network has taken from me in order to execute this. And what you'll notice is if I do this again, you'll see the margin changes. And that's because every single time, let's actually make that a little bit clearer. Every single time the price changes, every time someone trades, Vega re-evaluates your position. It marks your position to market, and it checks that, and it updates your margin, and that's how it keeps itself safe. It looks at your margin balance, it constantly updates that margin, and it makes sure that your position's closed out if you ever don't have enough money to keep your position open. And because of that, we can offer leverage trading on a decentralized platform in a safe way. And again, let's just watch the margin change once more. Okay, and that's the whole of the demo. And then just to close out, I just want to very quickly summarize where we've got to. So yeah, Vega, we call it the future home of DeFi, DeFi 2.0, lots of phrases like that coming around. Vega's new infrastructure layer for trading in decentralized finance is optimized for fair, fast, and capital-efficient trading. There's only futures on there right now, so everything you trade is a futures product because it's the simplest product, and we want to get out there in front of people with the simplest thing first. But in future, it'll support virtually any product built with our smart product definition language. It addresses the problems that we see in other decentralized exchanges, and particularly decentralized derivatives. The testnet is now live, and as I said, go to vega.xyz and join the waitlist and come and have some fun. Thank you.